Hello, everybody. This is Gio and Luka podcast. It's our first English podcast we've recorded. We've been recording it in our native tongue, which is Georgian, and now this is the first one that we recorded in English. We have some other episodes coming up, so tune in. I am Luka, and Gio will introduce
I
himself right now.
am Gio over here. So basically, the plan for our podcast is to have two weekly episodes, and one in our native tongue and one in English for both viewers, and there's quite a lot of interesting subjects that, I don't think we should let people miss out on it, right? And if there's some people who don't speak English, they can listen to it in Georgian, and if people don't speak Georgian, they can definitely listen in English. So we kind of can reach everybody, and I think that's our plan, and we're very very excited to give this first English episode today. So what are we going to talk about today, Luca?
So our today's topic that we picked was social media and social media impact on the brain and our society today. So yeah, I'll take it away. And I'll say how. So the reason we decided to talk about it is because I was watching Netflix the other day and saw this documentary recommended to me actually by Netflix by themselves. So that's called The Social Dilemma. That's the name of the documentary. In this documentary, they are talking about the social media and how it impacts our brains and how it is kind of like an addictive substance in sort of cocaine without the jitters, so to speak. And basically, they have like a depiction of a family in there that it consists of mother, father, and young kids. I would say they are Generation Z or millennials, like typical software, typical smartphone user family, and how like one guy just gets frustrated at school or something and then becomes radicalized. It's like all the theme, like the background theme of the documentary, and they have high profile guests like Asana co-founder and other people from Pinterest, Facebook, like ex Pinterest, ex Facebook, ex YouTube, people, software engineers, Silicon Valley representatives, basically the Silicon Valley people that actually go into details of how actually those like buttons that we use affect our brains and stuff. So it's quite interesting, but also what made me think more was that Netflix themselves use these algorithms all the time, and so what gets recommended to me usually might not get recommended to you, Gio. So like if you open your Netflix queue right now, like trending in the US, for example, right, it shows you sometimes. So trending in the US, the top 10 in the US, your top 10 is way different than my top 10 because of the algorithm. Yeah, they know your.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it comes from it derives from your behavior, just like everything basically. That I mean, it's inherently not bad. The algorithms are not bad inherently. It's not like someone is thinking, okay, I'm gonna show GODs because I want them to watch this because I want to make more money. It's just because they try to address your own taste and address your own desires so that you are happy. And the way social media and way Netflix makes money is by having your attention, right? So like you pay attention and they make money. How would you pay attention? They'll give you content that you would like. So that's basically a social media in a nutshell and Netflix in a nutshell. And so yeah, those are basically algorithms developed by those software companies, and one very sophisticated algorithm, and it's like really it's a new topic. I mean, it's like a trending topic right now everywhere. It's TikTok, right?
Right.
So TikTok does have an algorithm similar to Netflix's, but it's way faster to determine your taste. Like after 2 videos, you go on TikTok and they already know what you like, and they will just drop all the content that you would want to enjoy. And
It's very
I've
impressive.
I personally don't use it, but I've heard from some other people that they go on it, never used it before, and they come off of it like after an hour, and they're like, oh shit, this an hour passed.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
that's exactly the subject that we're going to touch right there. What you just said, right? Like that the hour goes by without you even realizing. Okay, that's a very interesting subject. I think, as you also, I'm going to agree with you, right? Like these Netflix doing this, TikTok doing this. This is a great thing, right, for the consumer. I mean, it makes everything easier for you. You don't even have to think at some point. Coming back home from work, tired, exhausted, you don't even have to think about what you want to watch. Netflix already knows, and they will give it to you on the platter, right? Yeah, but
exactly.
it's yeah, the tech. But basically, I wanted to touch on a lot of people nowadays pretty much like the majority of this earth uses a smartphone, right? We can say that. Maybe not of this earth, but maybe like United States. Let's just touch United States only. Can't
I
speak about the
mean,
rest of the
if
world.
I had to make an educated guess, I would say that a vast majority of human beings use smartphones
Indeed, and
in one form or the other. I
yeah,
don't know. Like maybe a family has one. I mean,
that those families are probably pretty rare right now in 2020.
yes.
But what I wanted to say is, smartphone, it's not a bad thing, right? It's an amazing servant. Like, indeed, you can automate and basically optimize your whole day with a smartphone, right? You can have your workout apps in there, you can have your meditation apps, you can have reminders, emails, everything that you needed something else like a book or a PC before. Now you have it all in your smartphone. So as a servant for acquiring information, studying new things, learning new things, or just being active and productive, smartphone is an amazing tool. It's just I think the people um, who are mastered by the smartphones are the ones who are having issues with this. Okay, like you can't let the smartphone take over your life and for it to run your life. It's a terrible master because it's going to do horrible things to your brain and it's going to change your life drastically to comparing to the times where you didn't have a smartphone, for example, right? It's very interesting, man. Like most of the people, I think there was a study done. What was this? This was a study done by this IDC Research, which is like a international data corporation, apparently like a premier global provider of market intelligence. They say that about 80% of smartphone users in the United States get on their phone within the first 15 minutes of waking up. And I think that's a very, very worrying thing, right? And I'm going to elaborate on why it is so worrying and why we should avoid doing that, right?
Go for
So,
it. And yeah, that's a very thought provoking stat. I do myself check my smartphone straight out of bed,
right.
I guess.
And I think
Yeah.
this isn't really about checking your smartphone, as if you use an alarm on your smartphone, normally you will have to turn it off at some point. So you will have to look at
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
That's
screen, right?
okay. Okay.
So
Fair
yeah.
point.
So let's talk about going through social media, for example, or just smartphone for any other purpose than like your productivity for the day, right?
Sure.
Um, I would say there's a lot of articles that I found about this, but basically a lot of articles talk about increased stress and anxiety, right? There's this University of Gothenburg in Sweden apparently did a study that they studied these I think it was men and women in their 20s, and basically they realized that the high mobile phone use was directly correlated to increased levels of depression in these men and women in their 20s. And why? Right? And psychologists elaborate on this and they say, well, the first thing in the morning when you wake up and you have all these news of what happened yesterday, all these emails, messages, social media, all of this is a big stress on your brain. You haven't even come to your senses yet you already are looking at what's going on in the world. So there's so much information coming to you that it gives you anxiety, and it's eventually when you do this over and over again every single day, you will feel the effects of depression because your brain is just like bombarded by all of this different information all the time, every single morning. right?
So like sort of like information overload.
Information
But
overload.
so you and I both get information bombardment, right? But
Correct.
is it like my question would be, okay, yes, I understand on a higher level why the social media or like this information overload could affect individuals, but why in their 20s, and then why is that some people don't get affected, or like is there any other metric in the study, or like how heavy was their information overload, how heavy was their mobile phone use? Is there any other metric? Because
These
I would want
were
to look at that, because I mean, me and you, we're both using phones for information. We just like scroll Twitter, and sometimes it's funny, sometimes like we get
definitely
some
100%.
funny stuff over there.
The
So
thing about it is they picked these people in the 20s, men and women, who are heavy smartphone users. So
got it.
basically,
So
like
they picked the heavy
exactly,
smartphone. Okay,
very heavy smartphone users, and these people who check not only their smartphones but social media specifically, within the first 15 minutes of waking up. And they also these studies elaborated about what exactly causes this anxiety, what exactly might cause this depression, right? So there's different factors here. For example, they spoke about how your time is being hijacked. Your time and attention are hijacked instantly as soon as you wake up. So you open your eyes, you roll over your bed, you turn off your alarm, get on Instagram, get on Twitter, whatever social media platform you use, and out of nowhere, within the first 15, 20 minutes of your day, instead of you focusing on what you have to do yourself today, what kind of tone you want to set for the rest of the day today, you are basically getting all this information about all of these other people, and this is very addictive, right? You spoke about this before. The social media use, um, basically smartphone use, extracts dopamine same way as cocaine or candy for an 80-year-old, for example. So it's a very, very addictive thing. And every single morning, these people are getting bombarded by information by others instead of worrying about themselves. This is also, as we said, very addictive. And then hours might go by and you don't even realize where the time has went because you've been scrolling through Instagram all freaking day, all freaking morning. So it's definitely when your time is hijacked and you are not hitting your deadlines. For example, you're not getting up early enough and you're in bed because you're scrolling, whatever it might be. Or maybe you are letting social media kind of distract you from what you need to do, right? At work or at school, whatever it is. This causes anxiety because then the goals that you had, personal goals that you had, not social media goals of what David Beckham is doing over there in England, but your personal goals, okay? Basically, you are missing out on these deadlines, and it's very, very stressful to human beings because you feel under pressure. Now you have to do 1 week's worth of work in several days because you spent all the other days basically procrastinating and being on the phone all the time and doing unproductive things. This is a big cause of anxiety in this youth because, yeah, that's exactly what happens to them. Their attention is hijacked. So basically, they set the tone for the day. They set a very, very negative tone for the day because you wake up, you go on Instagram, on Twitter, you go on Google, maybe on YouTube over there. So basically, you're going through all these different kinds of information. You're getting information from different ways. So YouTube video, for example, Instagram in written form, Twitter written form as well, whatever it might be. And then your brain in the first 15, 30 minutes, maybe even an hour of the day is jumping from one subject to another, which causes extreme distraction. And if you do this very often, right? Say there are people who do this every single day. Now your brain gets used to this. Not only will it start craving when you don't do it, but also you don't know how to focus anymore because you need dopamine. Your brain thinks, oh, we need social media. You're working, you'll pick up your phone every 5 minutes and look at it. You won't be able to focus on anything because every several minutes you will want to look at a different thing, a different social media account, whatever it might be, right? So this sets an extremely negative tone for a day. And then, as we already know, by constantly doing same activities every single day, this becomes a habit. And we both know that habits are extremely hard to break. So you are basically forming a habit of distraction. And Then there are people who complain about why can't they focus on school, why can't they focus at work, why their life is miserable. Well, you don't know how to focus. You don't know how to be motivated. You don't know how to just get in a deep work stage to where you can just get there and just do what you have to do within 1 or 2 hours and not be distracted by anything else. And this same study actually talked about how people whose jobs are mundane and relatively boring, those are the people actually who suffer the most with depression, because on social media you see this dream life, right? You see these dream houses, dream cars, whatever, dream job, whatever it might be, and their real life is much more mundane than what they see on the social media. So therefore, the brain keeps asking them to go back to it over and over and over again, and it causes a big disconnect between the reality and social media. And this is a huge concern for all the people who are heavy social media users.
Makes sense, and you touched to a lot of great points, and the fact that those social media companies got us addicted is a testament to their ingenuity and how their engineering teams were able to crack human psychology in a way
Right.
that now everybody's kind of like hooked, and no government ever tries to catch up or regulate these things.
I know.
It's kind of like a free dopamine source for everybody. It's I mean, to play devil's advocate in this case, right? So
Yeah.
someone would say, okay, cool, you wake up, you scroll, you get a lot of information, and arguably this is the times, like today and tomorrow, and then exponentially increasingly after in the future. These been the times where we as human beings had chance to have information, worldwide information, available at the touch of a button. Basically, like just click on like info, anything you want to know about is 2 clicks away, right? Just go unlock your smartphone, go on Google, search for it, you'll find it. So, inherently, what's disadvantages in it? Like, what's bad in it? Like, why is it such a big deal that these companies are kind of like spying on us, or these companies are trying to win our attention? Why is it so bad that we fall for it?
That we fall for it, or just in general, why is it so bad that they're doing this? That they're studying us, right? Basically.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't fall for it, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, they wouldn't study us, but like that, what, like how is that bad that we are getting the right suggestions? Like, I also saw in this documentary that Google search queries
Right.
vary by state. So like this, you know how they suggest you, like if you click the climate change is, I think in somewhere in like in the states where they do not believe in climate change, why
Right.
climate change is hoax or something that comes
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
in the other one is like in other states where it's more liberal and like it's they accept the validity of
Yeah.
climate change. It says why climate change is dangerous, or like why climate change is near, or I mean happening soon, or why climate change is
So
real.
basically,
So,
per location, the
yeah, per
internet and
location.
the
I
social
would assume
media.
per user
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, social media is basically able to construct your worldview. And now we're talking, we're both 25 years old over here. You're 26, 25. Now we're kind of, we're adults already, right? I mean, we have more control, at least I hope so, compared to the kids who actually were born into and raised in a social media era. And now imagine the effects that shaping their worldview is going to have from internet, right? It's going to be insane. They literally are pushed to think a certain way, depending on the location and depending on their own choices that they make when they surf the web and surf the social media. But I think the question that you had about why is it inherently bad, we just have to go back to the same point that I made in the beginning. It's an amazing tool. It's definitely an amazing servant for you. But if you let it take over your life, it's horrible. I mean, worldview, um, distractions, just anxiety, anger, all this negativity that you see on the internet, especially now, like with social media and the actual like media outlets and the type of negative news that comes out. it's very easy to kind of, and I'm sure you felt the same way. Like you go through the feeds and what's trending, and there's such bad news sometimes. It's just depressing. It's vexing, And I think that's what's really bad about it. Obviously, me personally, I don't really have an issue with the companies collecting my data and the cookies and just suggesting things to me, because I don't really look at negative stuff, and I have very specific things that I like to look at on the internet, and I always get that. And for me, it's awesome because I use it as a tool. But for some people who are just kind of open to it, and they're like kind of in the wild and just getting this free dopamine source, it's pretty scary in my opinion, because for a kid, you might change your whole worldview, your whole way of thinking, depending on what you get and what you watch and what you listen to. And for the grown people, I mean, it's depression. It's depressing. It might make you angry. It might make you, I don't know, like whatever, man. Like you see every single day, if there's a big issue that's going on in this country, for example, there's millions of people just fighting each other, man. And you go in the comments, and there's people. There might be a person who passed away, who got killed, and there will be millions of people who approve of this, and the millions of people who are like, no, what are you talking about, right? And it's just like too much going on, man. And I think you can't start your day like that, bro. This is your first 15, 30 minutes of your day. Just be at peace, relax, And that's what I think.
Okay, but who cares? Like you can get it during the day, the same information. You can just get it.
It's very true.
But so look, the point is, with the social media and the way the algorithms work, it's super easy to stay in your bubble. So like it's super easy to follow your own views and follow your own ideas. Right. Meaning, if you are on the leaning left, the algorithm will keep pushing.
Lean left.
Yes, keep pushing you on the left side. If you are on the right side, they will keep you push you on the right side. Because, as I mentioned in the beginning, all these algorithms are designed for is to maximize your time on the platform,
right?
So that you see more ads, and maybe you click on them. But in order for you to see more ads, you must be interested in the content, and in order for you to be interested in the content needs to be what you like.
Exactly.
So they cannot offer you something that you don't like. So therefore, it's extremely biased, but it's biased to you, man.
Exactly. So biased to you, I don't really look at it as a bad thing, to be honest.
No, but like
at all.
Think of it this way. You will never be exposed to counter arguments in your own life. How many times, me and you, man, we're like the guys who have kind of relatively minds that are open to learning, and we are easily like disproven, meaning like if we have some kind of wrong idea, we're not gonna cling to it, and we'll be able to, if we see enough evidence that our thinking previously was not right, we would switch, right?
Exactly. We're the first there's no problem. Our hands up.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. There's no problem apologizing that we're wrong and stuff like that. So, but look at this. When there is no counter argument and just like confirming your own ideas all the time in your life, and you get used to it, and then something like really new hits you, then that's where the problem is, because the social media shapes you as you wish. So like basically it affirms your wishes, and you cannot come out of your comfort zone and see like, okay, maybe I'm wrong in this. No,
right.
These algorithms won't let you do that. They won't let you research.
It's basically has a huge role in developing single-minded people in a way, correct?
Yes,
I mean, so people who are unable to look at situations objectively.
It's sometimes funny for some people when they say that the algorithms will take over, but they will, man.
I mean, hasn't it already? This is just the beginning. So
yes, that's what I'm saying.
God knows where we're going to be.
People, I don't know why they're laughing about this. This is like a legitimate idea that they, like the AI and technologies, they will just take over. Unintentional. It's not no one. I mean, Larry Page and Sergey Brin of Google are not sitting and plotting a world's end. They're just like trying. They're just there. And the algorithms are doing the work, so
they're trying to help. They're trying to help, and that's the thing. Because what you just mentioned about us being those kind of people, for example, that are able to look at situations in a different way and go further to learn more and learn new things, right? For us the machine learning for us, the AI and these algorithms are actually very helpful in a way, right?
Exciting.
It's exciting, exactly. So, you know, as if you use it as a tool, it's extremely helpful. But if you let it take over your life, and in this sense, to put you in that bubble to where you're not even motivated enough to go outside of your zone and outside of your worldview, then I think it's deadly. Because radical mind is the word, in my humble opinion. You can't be radical towards anything. There's no one way to anything, right? There's always two sides. And if you're unable to acknowledge that, and if you just don't like looking at different opinions in general, and you create this habit of always just being in that bubble, what do you become? A radical thinker. And I think that's a horrible thing. First of all, I'm worried for the youth. As I said, we're adults, right? We are already like this, so we have nothing to worry about. But what about the kids? What about the undeveloped brains who spend hours, basically not 24, but half of a day is spent on the freaking social media, man, and that's not good.
Now when everybody's at
At
home and
home,
stuff.
yeah,
So soon, the most valuable asset for, I mean, not soon, 2 days, most valuable assets for this most social media giants are us as human beings, and basically we're giving them what they want, so the data,
yeah,
for their algorithms to come up with the new solutions to our needs, basically, which we don't know what we want. And what soon will happen, in my opinion, is that in our most private decision making, we will have to involve algorithms as well. As an example, let's say mating, right? So soon there will be apps, and there will be possibilities when you will be able to see and compare. If you have like a like, if before you had to do it in your head, right? So let's say I like this person and I like that person,
right.
and see like, okay, I'm gonna go for this one because I think like,
It's gonna be like Netflix
yeah,
then, right? Think about it. Like this person likes this, and that. You
yes,
like this and that.
this and
98% match. Go for it. That's the person for
exactly.
you.
So, but it's gonna be so deep. It's gonna be like, okay, there is 98% chance that within 10 years you will stay with this person, and then for the other one, they will be like, okay, the algorithm will tell you, okay, maybe for the next 1 or 2 years, you'll be super happy with them, but there is high likelihood that after 2 years, because of your past searches,
Right.
your past experiences, you are not a good match with each other. So that's like real. And
That is real, and that is, in my opinion, that is a tragedy, because the differences in people is what makes us better. Dealing with negative people, dealing with positive people, dealing with people with different interests and different levels of knowledge. Man, iron sharpens iron, right? So you come around some people that maybe you don't have a lot in common. Maybe you're an athlete like me, and they're over there very scholarly, and they don't even care about that. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not going to speak to them, right? I mean, I would love to, and I can learn so much from them, and they can learn so much from me. But with these algorithmic suggestions of who you should go with and who should be your friend, I think that's taken a lot of very, very interesting experiences from your life away. Because, yeah, you don't even have to think.
fair
You're
point, yes,
compatible.
and they are taking away a possibility to make a mistake,
Yeah,
as in your humanity, right? So Homo sapiens, why are we humans? Like, why are we
we
the way
are
we are?
because we
Because we,
think. We think
yes,
because therefore we are, right? Descartes,
yes,
right? So, I
exactly.
mean, that's literally the basis of Homo sapiens, right? I mean, without thinking, what are we then? We're no different than any other animal. Because, I mean, come on, man. That's literally the only differentiation between us and animals. That's probably these thumbs on our hands and the ability to think and to have consciousness. So, them taking this away from us, then we are becoming a mass. Mass is dangerous. Mass is easily controlled. Look at this situation, right? Let's just make an example. Not saying I believe it this or not, but let's just say, for example, that coronavirus was a hoax. Just for example, just think about it. if all of the social media outlets and television and newspaper, everybody came out and said the same thing, that look, coronavirus is out there, it's deadly, this how many people dying every single day, we're going into lockdown. Look, people went into lockdown. Nobody complained. They just obeyed because it's a mess. That's all they get. That's all the information that they receive every single day. That's all they hear. They become anxious. They get scared from what these media outlets are depicting, and their minds they're basically brainwashed, and they're super easy to control. So more we go into this, more we see progress from these tech companies, and more we see, the improvements for suggestions and compatibility, the more of a mass we're going to become. I believe, easily controllable, and very, very easily controllable by the media outlets. As Jocko Willink says in his famous Jocko podcast, right? Discipline is freedom, man, and it truly is, right? I mean, have a morning routine. Wake up, exercise, do things, go out. Don't be so involved in everything social media. Don't be so absorbed by your smartphone. Do things that are people before us used to do. Um, Go on a travel, go on a journey, hike, exercise, meditate, do whatever you need to do. Just not be one of those people who spend 24 hours in front of this stuff, right? Seek knowledge. Uh, Kind of have the motivation to be better, learn different things, learn newer things. As we see this technology evolving, it also poses a threat to a lot of jobs, as well as it opens up a lot more jobs. Identify what these jobs might be, learn these things, have yourself set up for the future in a way that you can't be worrying about what if AI is going to take away a job from you, right? I think there's many things we can do, man, and most importantly, don't let it take over your life, and use it as a tool. Use it as a tool, man. That's all I can say. What do you think about it?
I think some of the damage is already done, and algorithmic processing is the future of technology and future of humanity. And with that, we will become a stronger civilization, and we will achieve many great things in terms of human longevity. We will reduce the bandwidth that we have between ourselves. We'll be able to do like a lot of technological advancements in medicine, travel. We will be obviously a space-bearing civilization, and we will be more and more dependent on our smartphones. And I would say that within next 2030, we might even have intracorporal, as in like inside the body, kind of a cyborg element in us as well. In my opinion, because I mean, I'm not really going to talk about like Neuralink and Elon Musk and stuff, because that's like too popular. There are a bunch of other companies that you all know. Facebook right now, actually, they unveiled the Ray-Ban collaboration. They are doing Facebook glasses.
Wow.
With Ray-Ban. So it's going to be like Ray-Ban sunglasses, looking like Ray-Ban sunglasses, but they would have Facebook operating system in them. So wonder what that is. So like they will walk around and see, okay, this guy is that. I mean, so they could totally do that. They could totally do facial recognition of everybody, basically.
100%, man. So look at the smartphones. Smartphones are you're literally able to unlock a smartphone with your face. Now that data is stored in a freaking smartphone, okay?
Yes, but like, I mean, even without that, on Facebook there's your picture, your face is there.
Tagging.
So not even tags. That, like your profile picture and the name. That's it. Like what else do you need? So like you get your profile picture and the name, and if there is any other picture of you, they know who you are. So they so like they find your picture somewhere else. They find your picture outside on the streets. Like even the government, right? They can. I mean, thank God the United States is not authoritarian, because they will be able to trace you everywhere you go, which I think they are doing it in China already.
Hence 1984, my friend. And for all the listeners, first of all, we appreciate you listening and everything, but if you haven't read George Orwell's 1984, please please read it. And it's a very, very interesting book, and you will be able to detect a lot of similarities with today's world from the book that was written in the 40s. So yeah, man.
48, and then he flipped
Yeah,
84. Did you know that?
yeah. And
1984 is
wasn't it?
48.
I think it was originally about Soviet Union, but that's besides the
Yes,
point.
exactly. But
But
that's
yeah,
yeah, that's kind of the playbook,
authoritarian country,
authoritarian playbook.
country. And I'm sure George Orwell couldn't have even imagined the amount of progression that we have made from well, under 100 years, man. Are you kidding me? So yeah, man. I mean, we're fast, we're pacing right towards that moment to where our privacy is becoming. We are becoming less and less private, and we're becoming more of like a social beings that are connected with the world. I don't know if that's good or bad. Only the future will tell us. But at the same time, I think inherently the essence of it is always to help people do more and evolve, and I think that's good. And you just have to have self control yourself to not let it kind of absorb your whole entire life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Stay
but the
human
specials,
and
yeah,
make sure to snooze notifications. That's the
yeah,
one way to avoid stress in your life. Do not
exactly,
have
yeah,
all the news alerts on. Just go when you want to see what's new. Just go and check it. There is no
exactly.
there like out of the thousands of notification you get from news, that the your smartphone or the app that you use for news thinks is important for you. Out of that thousand, 0.01% is really, really, really relevant. So just
Exactly. I
go on it
agree.
if you really want to see news. Just scroll and see. Otherwise, I
And
myself
I
have.
think, I think if you're one of those people who feels vexed and stressed and you don't know what the cause might be, try detoxing from social media for a couple of weeks. It's going to be extremely hard to do, but I have tried it myself before, several times actually, for for like 1 or 2 month intervals, and the effect it had on me and the amount of peace that it has brought to my mind is just unmatched. You just can't match it, man. You know. So I definitely will encourage people who are stressed or depressed, and if they think that the social media or like the phone addiction is one of the causalities for that, please go for it. Detox it as much as you can, and just trying to do more physical activity, read more, and do some productive stuff to like make yourself feel better, and also for your brain to relax. You know.
I've been off the ground for 2 months and
Yeah.
I'm
How do you
never going
feel?
to go back.
That's exactly how I felt when I left. I think it was in last November, I believe, for a couple of months. Man, I didn't even think about going back at all. I mean, I just went back for fun. It wasn't like a conscious. No,
Exactly.
dude, it wasn't. And I haven't been
It was
using it
for
as much
fun.
anymore either, though. That's the thing.
Okay,
Like my
cool,
habits
cool.
changed
Respect
completely.
that.
Yeah, so I recommend that 1,000%, man. It's one of the
Exactly.
best things you can do.
What else you
Also,
got, Gio?
please, one last thing before I finish, man. Please avoid using phone or watching TV or anything like that for last 30 minutes before going to sleep. If you want to be even better, for the last hour. These blue lights and these bright lights, what they do is it kind of gives your brains this message that look, it's morning time, it's time to get up. Because no never in the history of humanity has there been what time is it now? 9:45 Eastern time, right? 9:45 p.m. Never in our history has it been 9:45 and it's daylight like this right now. So these bright lights are basically sending signals to your brain that look, it's time to be up, and that kind of halts the production of melatonin, and therefore a lot of people get messed up sleep schedules, and the lack of sleep is one of the big factors in depression and anxiety, and kind of like uh, also helps distraction and takes a lot away from productivity. So if you truly want to take your game to the next level, avoid doing that. The last 30, 20 minutes, maybe even
An
read a
hour.
book. Yeah, last hour, that
Read
would be
a
amazing.
very boring book. It will help to
Oh,
fall
boring
asleep.
book will put you to sleep in 5 minutes. And I can provide you guys with a list of boring books if you would like for the next episode. But yeah, man, like do something more productive, meditate, read, whatever it is. Just avoid using this all the freaking time because it's going to change our lives, right? This is relatively new, and this is already habits that we've been building for years. So when we're in our 50s, God knows how our minds and brains going to act like.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was an extremely interesting episode. I'm very passionate about this subject, and just in general, the subject of productivity. And this is a has a huge role in me being productive, of how to limit my time that I spend on my smartphone. And it was awesome talking to you, and the insights that you provided today were amazing, especially about the machine learning and how these different Netflix, for example, and YouTube and everything, the algorithms work, and how it probably will be used to shape people's mind in the future. It's extremely interesting and also worrying idea. And yeah, man, until next time, right?
Yeah, I love the podcast, and until the next time, we'll keep
Yeah.
doing this, and hopefully the algorithms would put this on top of your the listeners list.
Yeah,
Listeners
so
list.
if you want that to happen more often, you should just like and subscribe, and we will greatly appreciate any kind of comment that you can provide about our video. And we're always open to discussion and new
We
ideas.
are really receptive to criticism
100%.
on a
That's all we're
positive
looking for right
way.
now.
Yes.
Don't
All right.
compliment us at all. Just
No compliments.
no compliments, please. All
All right.
criticism. All right, dude. It was good talking to you, man.
Great talking to you.